Yeah, Bang Bang Rail. I come out of prison in 1978, but going on a bit further, 2002, a guy called Julian Davis done a book called Street Fighters, and he come down to see me. I was looking after a big house. He come down to see me with another guy, and we done a podcast of me, my life, bit of my life story. There's about 14 pages, 15 pages in a book called Street Fighters, yeah? It's by a guy called Julian Davis. There's a lot of fighters in there. I'm going to try and get the book again because I did have it, but I'll give it to someone to read and not give me it back. So I'm going to get another one from YouTube, from Amazon. And once I get that, I want to do a few videos on it. There's fighters in here that I've even fought myself. But before all that, I come out of prison in 1978. I didn't go to Lewisham straight away. I was hanging around Acton for quite some time before I went to Lewisham. But when I did go to Lewisham, I met a guy called Jimmy Tibbett through Eddie Richardson and all that little firm that was down the pub at the bottom of my road. And when I went to the Beckett, met Jimmy Tibbett, we started doing unlicensed fighting. I've had about, 2 unlicensed fights. Stopped them both in the first and second round. The next one I had was a guy called Brian Hall, and it was at the Rainbow, I think Tottenham, and I think it's the Rainbow Tottenham, and there's a video called Box On, yeah? The video, I'm on it, I boxed Brian Hall. It's about, I think it's about 6 minutes, 16 seconds, something like that. That I'm in the video, Box On. Brian Hall, you can see him at the first start, so I smashed his face up really bad, Brian Hall. But he become a draw. I'm not happy, I'm not sad about that, you know what I mean? I thought I won it, but that's how it is, yeah? So I met Lenny McLean there as well. Me and him had words, wasn't good words. He, said he could do this and do that, but I thought, yeah, we've got a big mouth, mate, can you do it, yeah? And anyway. We happened to get it together. We used to go down the Ring pub and spar a few times down there. I also sparred with Roy Shaw. I fight with we used to get Columbos, get in the ring, we used to spar around. Lloyd Wolfram. Also, what's it called? Johnny Franklin's cousin, Les Stevens. I used to get in and spar with him. Yeah, I used to have some good sessions down at Beckett. Lloyd Wolfram gave me a concussion. Good fighter, Lloyd. He can bang, yeah. Anyway, anything else, I was fighting as much as I could, yeah. 3 times, 4 times, sometimes a week. A month, yeah. And most of them, the ones I fought are doormen, but I still fought. Catchworth, Streatham, Tottenham, Mayfair, Tottenham, all different places. Not so much Mayfair, Tottenham, sorry, I got mistaken. It was the Harvey Social Club, Woolwich, and around Deptford, Dartford, all around them places we used to fight, yeah? Kevin Paddock, Sid Paddock. I keep saying I'm going to go down and Kevin. I am going to go down and see Kevin. Maybe next week, hopefully, bank holiday, going to go down there because the boat's down there. We go down there. The weather's really changing now. I've got half a chance to go on the boat. I might be able to do a podcast on the boat, yeah? But that'd be nice, going across the water, podcast with Kevin Paddock, yeah? But me and Kevin, good fights we had. It's the Mayfair Tottenham. Can't look at me first thing in the morning. Cat's Whisker Streatham and his brother Sid. Kevin Paddock said it wasn't at Cat's Whisker Streatham, but I don't know. He said it was Deptford, Dartford, not Dartford, Dagenham somewhere, yeah? But after the fight, we come back to Harry Hayward's pub, the Harp and Erin, and had a good drink in there. He got pissed. He loves to drink, Kevin Paddock. He got drunk, and it was a good night. We had a good night. Good fighter, Kevin. Said Lenny McLean. He fought Lenny McLean. Lenny McLean wasn't the fighter he thought he was. Roy Shaw. He underestimated Roy Shaw. Anyway, going on, and I had quite a few fights. Quite a few fights in the 40s. I think it was 38, 40 something like that. Anyway, then I went to Acton Town Hall. I had my own shows in Acton Town Hall called Hillman Promotions, yeah. 2 shows there, good shows. First one, first knockout, first rounds. The other one, I lost the round, Colin Cracknell. He hurt me. He come out to bash me up, and I wouldn't allow it because my show. I picked him up, nutted him, and kicked him out of the ring. You know what I mean? But, you know, I didn't want to be mugged off, you know what I mean? Which he come to do, which I don't blame him, yeah? Because he can have a right fight, Colin Cracknell. He's in the fruit market. He's one of the governors of the fruit market. He's taught me how to fight. We used to fight all the time in the market before we were away in prison and ball stalls and things like that. Anyway, I'm saying this, right, that I got put in prison early 80s, 82s, 80, something like that, in the early 80s. I know, and I feel that I could have beat anybody at that time. I could have beat anybody at that time, unlicensed fighters. I mean, even Cliff Fields, it'd have been a good fight, me and Cliff getting in the ring. All the others, I fancied that I could have beat. Without a shadow of a doubt, I was up and coming. I was a good fighter. I could really march on, yeah. Street fight, I was mastered at it, yeah. I mean, really, really good. I mean, me and Cliff Fields used to work together. Unlicensed fighting, we should talk about it all the time. I've had a few rounds mucking about with Cliff. But I fancied that I'd have been the governor of this unlicensed fighting. If I haven't got involved more in armed robberies again, earning money, I could have been number one in this unlicensed fighting. I know I could have done. Do you know what I mean? I'm gutted when I hear about Lenny, McLean, Roy Shaw's, Cliff Fields, Johnny Waldron, and all them fighters. I'd had my hands full with Johnny Waldron and Cliff Fields. Not so much with Roy Shaw and Lenny McLean. I was quite comfortable with them because I was sparring with them quite a lot, and I knew that I was the better man, yeah? A lot of people saying to me, yeah. Listen, mate, I know how good I was, yeah? I know that I could have been the best one. And it guts me when I see a lot more on YouTube now. People say, who are you, where you been, what you done? Yeah, I've done quite a bit, yeah? I'm in a book called Street Fighters. I've had a couple of my own shows at Acton Town Hall. I was fought a few times at the Mayfair Tottenham. I'm with Brian Hall there. I've had quite a lot at Catsworth Streatham. I've done a lot of Harvey Social Club I was fighting. I've been Dagenham I was fighting. And I was getting on. I was having quite a few fights. I was having at least 3 fights a month. I'm not joking, mate. About 3 fights a month. Dorman, I could have had 2 fights a week. Doorman, I was just knocking them over like 10 pins, yeah? But there was quite a lot of doormen that can have a right row, because they're good fighters, a lot of doormen, yeah? But the ones that I fought, there wasn't all that. Maybe Jimmy knew who they were to give me a chance, you know what I mean? But no, Jimmy used to take me Hillyfields, near where I lived. There was a big school on Hillyfield, but it was a big hill, yeah? Jimmy used to get me running around there and doing all sorts of things. All sorts of exercises, press up, burpees, leg thrusts, alternate leg thrust, jumping, star jumping. He used to get me there for about, hour and 10 minutes, get the rope out, skipping on the pavement, skip, around the playing fields, running around there, on this, on that, doing press. Yeah, he used to get me there for about an hour and 20 minutes when we used to go to Hillyfields. We used to go out around Blackheath. I used to run around Blackheath. Jimmy used to be sitting in the motor, drive around, I'd be running. I'll do loads of exercises. Jimmy used to get me doing loads of shadow boxing on Blackheath, yeah. It was quite nice because people drive by, stop and shout out, "Oi," and all that, you know what I mean? And yeah, I used to love it. I was gutted that I got involved with armed robberies, doing armed robberies and getting myself big birds, yeah. Frankie Warren, he maybe started the unlicensed fighting maybe a year before me, 18 months before me. Look where he is now. You know what I mean? I get a bit gutted that I never took it as far as I should have done. I should have gone in. I mean, once I started doing my own promotions, I thought, wow, this is not hard. You know what I mean? To do this, it's quite easy if you know the fighters and know how much you got to pay them, how much the ring's going to be to put up, and this, that, and the other. You can earn a lot of money. But when I say a lot of money, the first couple of fights, I only had 2 fights at the channel. We broke about even. Maybe we got about £600-700 each after everything, but that ain't bad, you know. I had a video done at Acton Town Hall. We're trying to get the video. A guy called Bob Coleman, which is my partner, he went to, I think it was South Africa. He's living out there. He's a lot older than me. When I say a lot older, maybe 5, 6 years older. And, you know, I've heard that he's still around. So I'd love to get hold of the video. If ever his daughters or his son are watching my videos, try and get hold of your dad and ask him if he would send a video or let me know where I can get a video from. Because I'd love to be able to put the video on my YouTube, yeah? And that people see what I was like and how my shows were. My shows were packed. My shows were packed. And I know if I hadn't have got myself involved with silly arm robberies, I'd have been a good promoter. Honestly, I knew that. I was just a fool to myself, yeah? When you got good... I mean, Lenny McLean and Roy Shaw made Frankie Warren. They made Frankie Warren without a shadow of a doubt, you know. Them two always fighting. It was always publicised. There was no mobile phones as such. You know, it was all done by paper and this, that and the other. It was good, you know. So everybody loved Lenny McLean on the television all the time, become an actor, fantastic actor, Lenny McLean. Lenny McLean and Roy Shaw were legends. Yeah, they were legends, mate. Without a shadow of doubt, Roy Shaw and Lenny McLean were big, big legends. Even though there was better fighters out there than them two, they become legends because they were the first ones into this unlicensed fighting, really, really, yeah. You had Donny Adams that started it with Roy Shaw. As such, Donny Adams, you know, he was a good fighter, Donny Adams, but he played out. By the time Roy Shaw gets to fight him, he played out, yeah? He played out, but Roy Shaw, okay, he stopped him, beat him easy, yeah? Then Roy Shaw with Lenny, it was like, it's the sort of thing, I said it before and I say it again, it's the sort of thing with Mickey Theo and Johnny Fury. It's that sort of thing, you know, verbal, over this and over that, but it wasn't mobile phones then, it was more papers and all that, and, you know, and so Roy Shaw, you should have the mobile phones and that, but not so what it is like now, not a big media now. I think it was 1-to-1, wasn't it, them days? I'm not quite sure. In the 80s, was it 1-to-1? Was 1-to-1 out there in the 80s? I don't think even then it was out 1-to-1. You know, so, you know, it's fantastic. They was on the television all the time. Roy Shaw, Lenny McLean, you know, Donny Adams. I mean, Donny Adams, Roy Shaw had that big tent, didn't they? The big marquee, you know, and that's how it really started. That's how it really started, I think, you know. That is Joe Pyle. I mean, Joe Pyle, you know, I feel Joe Pyle should have been a better promoter than he was. Frankie Warren just lit up, didn't he? He just lit up because the Mayfair, Tottenham, big shows rather than, you know, just little tents and all that, you know. But anyway, I'm gutted. I'm really gutted, yeah, that I never stuck to the fighting. I know that I was just up and coming then, and I was up and coming, and I was really, really powerful, mate. I was so powerful. I was what, 20 stone. When I get back into the weights, on the roids, pumping weights, I was getting big. Lenny McLean was getting big. He was on the roids, you know, but the only trouble with the roids, does you up, mate. It does you up. Most people on the roids today, I mean, Arnie Schwarzenegger had, what, 3 bypasses because of the roids. Most of these bodybuilders you look at, Coleman, I mean, what was it? Yeah, Ronnie Coleman. Look at him. I mean, he's a cripple now, Ronnie Coleman. Look at the state of his body. I mean, he's still a bit strong, but look at the state of his body. Steroids. And in them days, steroids was all mumble jumble and everybody takes so much of it, you know. It's, you look at bodybuilders now, mate, they look a state, you know what I mean? they look a state. I mean, I'm 72, you know, 72. And I feel like 42, 50. I don't feel my age at all, you know what I mean? I think prison's helped me out a lot of ways because prison cocoons you, yeah? It puts you in a cocoon, you know, so when you come out, if you've done 10 years in prison, you come out, this is that 10 years, you never existed, you know, but I've done 26 and a half years in prison, so it's a lot different, but I still come out younger, you know, train every day. Every day we trained in prison, yeah? You'd be in your cell, you'd be training, dips, pull-ups, sit-ups, press-ups. You get out, you go to the gym, you do your bench, you do your incline, you do your decline, you do your deadlifts, you do your stiff-legged deadlifts, you do your presses. You're doing all that, but you're doing that maybe in the gym 5 days a week. And when you're in the kitchen, like I was in Albany and Chelmsford, wow, man, you're eating the best foods you possible. You're taking yeast to thin your blood out. You're pumping like it goes out of fashion. You're drinking every sort of water you can drink, like green water. You're drinking everything, carrot water, every sort of potato water. I'm drinking everything as vitamins, yeah? So you can imagine you're getting massive, you know, you're doing the right things, you're eating the right food, you're taking this, you're taking the right supplements. But the supplements you're taking are pure supplements from things that have been boiled. And you're getting that water coming out the bottom of the copper. And it's beautiful, bit of pepper, mate. And you're down you're thinking, yes. You know what I mean? You're a gladiator, mate. You're a gladiator. And that's how it was. And that's it. Well, when I come out, when Chelmsford burnt down, I went to the scrubs, and I eventually come out and I went round Acton for a bit more time. When I come out, mate, and I was really, really powerful, and I got to hear about it from Clifffields, about certain things, and I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm going to go where it's all happening. Christine done me a favour in a way, my ex-wife. She went to Lewisham before me. And I realised then, well, I'm going to go to Lewisham and find her. You know, and then we got to a place called Brookbank Road where she's lived in Lewisham. And I decided when I went out there, I wanted to go out there anyway because this is where all the fighting was, yeah? Around Lewisham, South East, all around these parts of London and North London and bits and pieces. Yeah, man, I want it, you know, I want it. And I thought to myself, I'm big, powerful, go for it, mate. And that's it. And then meeting Jimmy Tibbett, mate. I'm meeting Jimmy Tibbett, and he was the best of what he'd done, the training, yeah. I never see a lot of his boy. I never see a lot of young Jimmy. I see him a couple of times in the spills. Never see a lot of him at all. I mean, Jimmy was more into me as training and talking about his son and doing this, but his son was always there with his dad. What I'm saying, you could see he was there with his dad. I mean, you look at his dad, you look at young Jimmy Tibbett, yeah, you look at his dad. It's the same sort. They're the same sort of thing. They're very tall. You know, they've got a lot of. I mean, the old man could talk. The old man could talk. Young Jimmy can talk. I think young Jimmy talks so well because I think when he was in Brighton, he was more into the horse racing side of things, and he got into that, and he was, you know, always talking. And when Jimmy Tibbett can talk, young Jimmy Tibbett can talk. He tells a few lies, but we all do that. We all do that. Not lies, he just fabricates a little bit. But believe me, the things he talks about is true, yeah? Me and him have a little words here and there, bad words, good words, because that's what it is, isn't it? But he did get hold of me when I come out of prison and got hold of me. His dad, I think his dad was dying, I'm not quite dead or whatever. I should have seen his dad more so than I did. But I was in prison when I come out. Young Jimmy phoned me up and said to me, look, mate, can you tell me more about my dad? More stories about my dad, which you might know more than me, because you was with my dad in the boxing scene more than what I was. But can you tell me about my dad? And obviously, so I told him. He said he was going to put it in his book, but he didn't. But it's not, you know, come on, it's no big thing, is it? You know what I mean? Young Jimmy. Me and Jimmy was going to do a podcast with Sean. We was going to do a couple of podcasts with other people. I didn't think it was such a good idea as such, really. You know, it's, yeah, as I say, young Jimmy, I don't really know too much about young Jimmy. But what I do know is when we was together before, when he came out of prison and talked to me, his dad didn't talk too much about his son, but as I said, you could see the love for his, when he did talk about him, yeah? When you're with someone from 9 o'clock in the morning, maybe till 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, mostly about training, and you're going to spills, you become an enforcer. With me, Cliff Fields and Jimmy become an enforcer, you come very close to that people, yeah? You come close to them and you get to know a lot about it. Cliff Fields, you know, he never said too much. He was very, very in, Cliff Fields. He wasn't flash. You know, he told me about the fights he's had and this, that and the other, and Richard Dunn and Lenny McLean and them sort of people. Good. Listen, mate, I have big respect for him. Big respect for him, for Cliff Fields. There's a low, I mean, I can talk all day long about it, all this, yeah, but let me finish it now. So this is Bang Bang Radio. Please press the like button and subscribe, and tomorrow I'll do another one, yeah? Thank you. Nice one.